The big question is, where are we going to see the heavy thundery downpours? Where's most at risk of seeing that intense rain and seeing some impacts as a result? So if I just run through, and if I press play from the early hours of tomorrow morning, this is around 4 o'clock, and you can see that swathe of heavy thundery rain that's pushed up, developed over parts of France, and then is pushing its way northwards, and it's going to push into parts of southeast England, Kent, Sussex, across London, and then fringing into East Anglia. Worth bearing in mind, there are some showery bursts further north across parts of Scotland, northern England, and there could be some thunder mixed in, but it's this area in the southeast that we're watching most closely. Well, we're watching everywhere closely, but watching and most aware of in terms of the potential impacts. Further north, we're going to see that rain pushing its way in as we go through the day. So by the time that we get to 11, 12 o'clock, the more persistent, heavy thundery downpours will have started to clear away from the southeast. Instead, they'll be affecting parts of northern England, northeast England, and perhaps into eastern parts of Scotland as well. So some heavy rain. Now, in terms of warnings, we do have a couple out at the moment. Well, actually more than a couple, that's underplaying it a little bit. We have, I almost fell over there. We have, so a number of thunderstorm warnings down the eastern, or big thunderstorm warning down the eastern side of the country and into northwest England as well, across the Midlands. And this is valid for a large chunk of tomorrow. But then within that, we also have this amber warning. Now that's valid from 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow until 11 o'clock. And it's within this area, it talks of the potential for 60 to 100 millimeters of rain in just a few hours. Now that is a lot of rain and it could cause some major problems. And as we often see with thunderstorm warnings, there's also the risk of hail and the risk of frequent lightning and some gusty winds as well, which could cause some problems. The further north, I've already mentioned that there will be some heavy thundery rain pushing its way in, and that's going to become more widespread as we go through the day. Currently, we have a yellow warning there. It's definitely not out of the question that we might need to escalate that to an amber as we go through tonight, tomorrow morning, perhaps, as we get a slightly better idea of just how heavy the rain is going to be and where we're going to see the highest rainfall totals in terms of the impacts. Now, the other thing that I wanted to highlight when it comes to the wet weather that we have coming through is it's slightly different to the thunderstorm warnings that we've had recently. Often with thunderstorm warnings, by their very nature, thunderstorms are often hit and miss. So they're showers bubbling up here and there, and they're quite difficult to pinpoint exactly where they're going to be, when they're going to develop, and so therefore where's most at risk. So we often have relatively large warning areas which cover lots of places through a relatively large period of time. And within that period, anywhere's at risk, but no guarantee that you're going to see. You might not even see any rain, let alone some thunder and some impacts from the downpours. This one's a slightly different setup. There is a swathe of heavy rain that's pushing its way northwards, and it's within this rain that we have some thunder embedded. And as a result, that's why we've got the thunderstorm warning, because there could be some very heavy downpours, intense rainfall rates. Like I said, 60 to 100 millimeters in just a few hours isn't out of the question. And why is that important? Well, it's when you get that intense heavy rain over just a short period of time that we see surface water flash flooding. And so lots of people may be asking us and saying, well, why are you issuing rain warnings, thunderstorm warnings, when we've been calling out for so much rain recently? We've talked already how dry it's been through spring, through much of this summer. We've had a lot of dry weather. There are hosepipe bans, lots of places hoping, desperate for some rain. And now we have some, and now we're warning about it. Well, because this isn't the sort of rain that's necessarily that useful, because it's coming over such a short period of time. Now, if this rain, the totals, 60 to 100 millimeters were coming over a few days, then yes, that would be very helpful from farmers' point of view, from lots of gardeners and in other respects as well. But because this intense rain is coming over such a short period of time, it's just going to hit the ground, which is relatively dry at the moment, or very dry in some places. It's not really going to get absorbed in by the ground. It's just going to wash off. It's going to go down into drains. Drains could then get blocked, could lead to some flooding in places. And so it's not going to be absorbed, taken in the way that lots of people need it to. So it's not going to be that useful to the farmers, even though there's going to be so much wet weather around. I had one other thing to bear. Oh, that was it. One other thing to note on that side of things is it is really going to be wet. So here I have the average July rainfall for the country indicated by various different colours. And if you look anywhere that is brown, their average rainfall for July is less than 100 millimetres. And you can see that's across much of the country, really, just Dartmoor, parts of Wales, Western Scotland, and over the Lake District, parts of Cumbria as well. Elsewhere, most places on average in July see less than 100 millimetres. Now, most places won't see more than 100 millimetres tomorrow, but it's possible. So some places, particularly towards the southeast then, are going to see in excess of their average monthly rainfall in just a few hours. And that's why we're warning for it, because it's likely to cause some impacts. But as I wanted to go on and discuss, it's not just in the southeast. The heavy thundery rain is going to, oh, I've gone too far. The heavy thundery rain is going to push its way northwards across many parts of the country, particularly up the eastern side, but also into northern England, later into eastern Scotland, where we have a rain warning out. And then that's not the end of the unsettled weather. That system pushes its way northwards, but as we go into the second day of the weekend, into Sunday, we have more wet weather coming in from the southwest. Southwestern parts likely to have a pretty wet day on Sunday. And just it's looking like a very messy day for many of us as we go through Sunday. By the afternoon, heavy, thundery, showery bursts developing across many places, so it is going to be pretty wet. Just the potential for some more persistent rain to affect parts of the southwest, and all the time also some more wet weather across parts of Scotland. With that in mind, I've briefly showed some of the warnings that we have, but I wanted to cover them again. So we do have a thunderstorm warning across some eastern, northeastern parts of England at the moment. Then later on today, we have, later on today, this little thunderstorm warning develops across parts of the southeast. That's ahead of the heavier, more thundery rain that's coming in as we go through the early hours of tomorrow morning. And so from 4 o'clock, we see that amber warning start. And we then also have this yellow thunderstorm warning, which starts from midnight tonight across much of England, really just away from the southwest. And then we have a rain warning across eastern parts of Scotland, which continues through the end of Saturday and into Sunday. And then another rain warning across parts of the southwest on Sunday as well. So lots of wet weather to come, but like I said, not necessarily that useful for those who have been calling out for rain for such a long period of time.